So now we've created body copy and we've created body paragraph style. This I'm going to give some styling to in a bit. Nah, I'll do it now. Character styles. All right, so let's add, so if we have a same as how with, basically it's a system of rules. And then there are other systems created to break the rules. So we have master pages, master typography plans, and then we have all these other situations to build on top of that. So you can break your master page by how I showed you, you can change if you want to take away the page number. For this, let's say you wanted to augment the body copy by having bold or italic, any kind, we can add character styles. So if you hit this plus sign, or you can make it bigger. So for this page, for example, Masters of Modern Graphic Design, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of visual hierarchy to this so that we see title, Masters of Modern Graphic Design, and then underneath we have our name and the details, 1, 2, 3. So I think the next thing we should see is the name. So I'm going to go ahead and make this. So you can see here, this is paragraph styles body. I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. So now you can see as soon as you change something, there's a plus sign here. I don't know if you can see this, but so overrides have happened and it says option click to clear. So I can undo anything if I wanted to go back to the paragraph style that I originally intended to happen, or you can click option, oops. So option click does that exact thing. Control click, you can actually override redefine style. So that would make all of our copy across our whole booklet a new type size, 11 points, or bold or italic or whatever you did to change it. So let's keep going. And because I haven't actually done anything with the body, you can see the plus sign is still there. Let's say 16 points and bold. Woof. I don't like that at all. All right, so the problem with this is that we have Masters of Modern Graphic Design big, but then we have bold, large text underneath. So you go right to Jenny Reed. And I don't want it to, I want the title to be the first thing the person sees. So what if we did regular and a little bit smaller? All right, 14. And I'm also going to do, maybe just say return to, that's fine. And then maybe this is italic. That's stupid. Let's not do that. All right, so highlight Jenny Reed. We can see that there's a plus sign. And now we're going to add a character style on top of this. Add the plus sign, and I'm going to double click character style 1, and I'm going to call this body 14. All right, so this is my internal code for when the body copy is size 14. The other thing we could do, which if any of you are web designers, or I believe someone here is a coder, we could also do, sometimes I do H1, H2, H3 like that to define the hierarchy, but for now let's do this because we're actually just on the cover. And the only thing that's defined is that the point size is 14. Okay, that's the only thing that I've changed. If you want to change something else, you can try here. All right, we have the scale. Don't change this. For general use, if there's a specific use later, you might be able to do that, but you don't need that. Color, you can do that. We could go back to our gray system. Well, that's another thing we could do. We could make the text gray. Titling alternates, slash alternates, ordinals and fractionals. Or fractions rather. So these are all different typographic changes you can make, which we don't need for this. Underline options, generally, I don't know, underlining doesn't seem to be in right now. I don't see a whole lot of it. All right, Command 0, that's good enough. All right, we're gonna save compulsively because we're good people. Good people. All right, excellent. The other thing we could do is we can make the whole page black and then invert the text and make it white. but let's keep it broad. All right, introduction. So let me go back to the introduction, brief description, history. All right, so I will now maybe draw a box here, and I'm going to click my body copy, and I'm going to go layout, nope, type, fill with placeholder text, and there's my placeholder text. If we hit the return key, all right, this is nonsense text, might be in Latin, I'm not sure. And then this is the beginning of our book, right? So we have this copy, and you can see this red plus sign. Let's drag this down to the bottom. You have to be careful because we did put our page number there. We may want to go even smaller with the page number, but I think I made it 8 points. So this is the beginning of a book. This is how people make books. This is how people make magazines. So it's pretty awesome that we're learning this here together. And there's a lot we can do with this. This is pretty average. I'm not really loving how this is playing out. I might actually change it to Times New Roman. I think I should change it to Times New Roman. Yeah, I don't care. Okay. No, I know you care, but that's not the important thing here. So also the letting is I have it on auto. There are so many things you could do with this. I mean, really an endless number of things you can do with this. For now, let's leave that as is and just keep getting our generals down. All right, inside front cover, we did introduction, brief history. It's page 4 and 5 facing pages, design 1, short text with 1 or 2 photos. So let's go here. And we are just going to do the same thing, hit our T key. And all right, so let's think. If we have, let's say one of the designers, that's Gail Anderson, is the first one on the list. She might be, if we had 2 photos, I don't know where we're going to want our text. So for now, let's just put it here. All right. And then we're going to hit body copy, type, insert, fill with placeholder text. I'm going to loosely modify it for now just to give us a little bit of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then I'm going to take this rectangle and I'm just going to go ahead and draw a little box. All right, so basically option, click, drag, and that's going to duplicate the box. And both of these I'm going to make the dark gray. So this is where you would import your photos. Let's say you wanted to make a collage for one of the artists or all of the artists. You could make a collage layout. Okay, you could take these and you could put this here. And let's say I wanted the 4 column. Just dragging the page around because my face is in the way. All right, so let's say put the master here. All right, so the house is falling down, but that's okay. All right, so we want the photos to be consistently sized. So if you have a headshot of 5 different artists across the book, we want each of those to be the same size, not stretched out 100% both ways. If you were to do a special collage, let's say just for one of the artists, let's say you wanted to do, I mean, because these designers have done so much work over the years, you know, after years and years of creating stuff. I mean, really, and what I'm doing here is I'm just clicking and dragging using the Alt key to copy. You could make yourself a little layout here and have a big collage, which would be really fun, don't you think? Right, so you could have Gail Anderson here, have a photo of her. Let's actually cut that, not delete it. So Command X is to cut, so I just cut that. So you could have Gail Anderson here, and maybe that would be even bigger. You know, what is this, 4.5 by 4.29, okay. And then you could have a little bit about Gail here, and then you could have a collage of all her stuff, for example. Or you could take this, and you could put this here, right? You could do this, and you could have a more traditional layout. You could also do that. And this might be hard to read. We want to do between 9 and 13 words across. That's a general rule of thumb. This looks like more than that. 10, 11, 12, 13. It's actually 13, but it's very wide, so it's more difficult to read if it's 13 words or more, because the human eye, we have to go back to the next line. And especially with a sans serif typeface, there's not going to be anything to drag your eye around. So actually, if you look at some of the websites now, some of them are sans serif with some kind of gray or lighter color. It's sometimes really hard to read, even though it looks really cool. So I'm actually starting to have mixed feelings about this. So what if I were to click? So anyhow, I'm going to make this 2, 3 columns, and then here's where you're going to define your gutter. All right, so we're going to bring this back down to 0.125, which is what we have in our system. Any kind of thing, if you are very mathematically inclined, you can do all of this mathematically. All right, you can have your the point size of the text and your leading to fit exactly into your margin so that you have exactly the number of lines you want. So if you were to create a magazine or a book and you had the number of words, you can actually mathematically define that to fit perfectly into the space. So there's really a lot you can do. And you can see this is 3 columns now, and this is going to be much easier to read. And I'm just going to, just for the sake of it, do Times New Roman, because I want to see, this is continuing to bother me. So you can see the same number of words. This is Gotham. You can see how wide these letters are. Times New Roman only takes up 2 little columns like this, not even. So if you have a lot to say, changing the typeface is going to drastically change how it fills the space. If we were to try Avenir, yeah, so Gotham is a really wide typeface. Futura, this is condensed medium. This is a style. I mean, you could do this. It's pretty intense, but you could do it. I'm not especially inclined to read this. And I actually don't have Futura. I don't think Gil Sans is on the list, but you could do Gil Sans. That's another popular one. So Gil Sans Light is pretty elegant. Very, very popular. All right, but you can see any typeface you choose, you want it to be consistent across your entire document. So this is Gotham and this is Gil Sans. I wouldn't pair those together. What you could do is one serif and one sans serif. But for now, I might even just stick with one so that you're consistent. If you feel comfortable matching 2 typefaces together, 2 type families, email me and let me know which ones you're putting together. And we can actually just talk about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and say Times New Roman for now. All right, times regular. Okay. And it's 9 over 10.8. Okay, so that's 9 points over 10.8 points between the lines. Okay, a lot of talking. All right, so there we have a basic layout. Now what you could do, take all of this, Command minus, click and drag, copy, and you could just go ahead and you want to make sure you're click and drag, copy. You can just go ahead here, Command Option Shift V. I'm not clicked in the right place, so Command Z, because I may have just duplicated that. So we're going to click here and you can see what page you're on. There you go. So now you have a template here that could apply for each of the designers. I would recommend, whoa, did you guys see that? I would recommend trying a few of them out and see what you like. And again, if we zoom in here, you can see that this has been altered. So there's a plus sign. If you were to make this all body 14, it's going to be large type. And since we didn't define the typeface in the character style, it's just going to be larger type. Command Z. Okay, so let me see what else we could try. What if we were to do something different, like take away these, take away all of these. And then maybe we want to do just 4 big ones, for example, and have the 4 columns. So just click and drag. You can put this here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shift key, and you can just drag this out, right? And then you have 4, but you can see it didn't do it perfectly. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and delete those. Put this here, right? And if your grids are not snapping, go to View, Grids and Guides, and we're going to snap to guides. And 0, Alt, Shift, drag, Alt, Shift, drag. All right, so you could do that, and then maybe you would have, all right, type, fill, actually, no, hold on. Let me stop the video for 1 second. I'm actually going to click this. You see this white square? If you click that, you can drag and make your text box go onto the next page or wherever you want. And then here you would go, for example, type fill with placeholder type, and it would fill the whole thing. And you can go ahead and just click this, add your columns. All right, we have 4 columns here. It's going to be, I don't know if I like that. That's pretty busy. All right, that's pretty. So maybe we actually, I don't really like the 4 columns. I might actually just do 3. So this is kind of breaking the grid. So actually it would be more applied to this layout. So that's fine. That's fine. We have our page number. And then let's say we want to put our photo here with Command D. And we could say, I made a little Gail Anderson folder. We could put Gail in here. And this is different, so I'm going to drag this out, go like this, and fit content proportionally. We're going to make this, you can see I have this background color, none, double click this white square, and then you're going to have a new situation. All right, so this is where it becomes a lot of pixel pushing and that kind of stuff. Depending on how much copy you have versus images is going to how you decide to choose your layout. And same thing, you would do Command D, and you would place your image in here. We don't want to stretch anything. Please don't stretch anything. We want 100% both ways. And then we also want to put, if you put a photo like this, it would be good to put captions. So hit your T key, put this here. All right, and body copy, right? And then we're going to have, I'm actually going to create a new one. So let's say Gail illustrations. And on the website I pulled this from, it has the correct Gail Anderson illustrations by, and I forgot the guy's name, but for now we're just going to say by so-and-so. All right. All right, so now we have our body copy. We're just going to go ahead and create a character style, and we're going to call it caption. And we're going to make this 8 points preview. Okay, so it's smaller. I think I want this to be italic. I think I might want this to be italic, and I think I want this to be the gray. All right, so you can see that we have a light gray caption now, so that we go from Gail, and you kind of, you see that, but not well. So then you would go right to the beginning of the article, for example. All right, and if, let's say you wanted to add a drop cap, you could go in here, highlight that first letter, and you could turn this into a drop cap. My screen is not big enough, so it's going to be at the top of your page, but so just so I have to drag out the page because I'm on a laptop. So sometimes if you don't see what you're looking for, just noodle around until you find it. I do quite a lot of noodling in my life these days. And there it is, right? So here, drop cap number of lines. So here we have Gail, drop cap one or more characters. All right, so let's do this. All right, drop cap number of lines, and it's going to be 2 lines, so you can see it's going to start there. All right, we have a big drop cap. You can also take it and go across. This is not recommended. This doesn't look good. If you're going to do that, there's a different way to do that, but not like this. You'd have to take time and style that. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and I'm going to call this drop cap. Okay, and we could even make that a color if we wanted. All right, so maybe we'll make this. I don't know. So if you these colors are the pre-made colors they have in there. Just the cyan, magenta, yellow. But let's say for now, so this is horrible. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this. Actually, let me go back and again bring my screen in. And I'm going to go to my eyedropper tool and I'm going to pick a color from the illustration. All right, so maybe we would add this color to our swatches and we could call this, whoops, Gale Orange. All right, so that's a lot of information right there. Let's stop the video.